Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Entitled Parents Reddit video. In our first story, Mom books the ice rink the wrong day. Let's jump right in. For some background, I am an adult figure skater and I practice in a big group of other adults. There are skaters going from beginners up to former elite skaters. During Corona, the public rink we usually skate in has been closed, and occasionally we have rented a private rink for an hour to skate. It is a lot more expensive than our ordinary practice, but you do what you must. Also, it is incredibly hard to get these time slots since the demand is high. Skating is a Corona-safe sport, no worries. We are 8 people on the whole ice and change outside. It is all correct by our laws. A few months ago, we had rented the ice and arrived at our time. Since we are responsible and change outside, we couldn't see what was happening inside. Once I and one of the other skaters were ready to go on the ice, we headed inside, and by the rink side we find about 10 parents and something like 15 to 20 children aged 3 to 6 years. One of the moms, the entitled mom, approached me with a worried expression. "Are you the ones that rented the ice?" "Yes." "You see, we were just informed that we booked the wrong day. Apparently we booked next week this time, but we are here today." "I'm sorry to hear that. What a bummer." She looks at me and the other skater. "Is it just the 2 of you?" The others are still tying their skates outside and only the 2 of us had come inside yet. "No, we are a whole group." "Can't we split the ice half and half?" No. We are not here to joy skate, we are practicing seriously. I did this for several reasons. The first and foremost, it is incredibly dangerous. If I run into your child, I will hurt them badly, and I risk hurting myself too. But I mean, it's your kid. Do you want their face sliced up? I would never ever let my non-existing own kids on the ice during a serious practice. Secondly, we rent the rink to be able to practice freely. Half the rink makes it impossible to practice a program. Third, children usually drag a lot of mud onto the ice, either on their coveralls or from their parents' shoes when they walk onto the ice to help the kids when they fall. Dirt and mud is a big no-no for skates. It'll wear them out quickly and we'll have to pay for resharpening. Okay, here I felt kind of sorry for them. We all screw up sometimes and it sucks. Can't be fun to reschedule an event like this, and I get that. It's what happens next that makes this story entitled. The mom goes to the other parents and I hear her saying silently like, "I guess you could come next week if that fits you." Then she goes to the children, points at us and says loudly, "These people don't want you to skate, they want it all for themselves," with a super accusing tone, like we personally were responsible for her mistake. I ignore her and step onto the ice together with the other skater. This commotion already cost us a few minutes of our short time. I see one more from our group enter the rink, and the entitled mother speaks to her too. I can't hear it though. This woman later confirms to me that the entitled mother tried the same trick on her, guilting her into letting them share the ice, and then asked if the children, now all out of their skates, could at least walk out on the ice to touch it. Since they're all wearing shoes and mud rule still applies, my friend declines. Also, when the ice is newly resurfaced, it is crazy slippery and very hard to walk on. Big risk of falling and hurting oneself. The rest of our group arrives and we start warming up. Half a minute later, the entitled mother opens the gate and lets 2 of the children run straight onto the ice. I wave at her to get them back off of the ice, and she waits purposefully before she tells them to come back, only they don't listen. She lets them slide around how much they want. Eventually, she has to walk out on her muddy shoes to pick them up and go back. Not a sorry, no nothing. Not the worst entitlement, but it still boils my blood, especially how she tries to blame us in front of the kids. Kids are usually very fond of looking at us skating since it looks cool, and when we skate publicly, we often show off whatever they want to see or teach them something. I hate to be accused of being the bad guy. Story number 2. Entitled mother gets her parcels delivered to my home. This story is something that happened to me and my fiancé fairly recently. We recently bought our first home together in a nice quiet area in the north of England. If you're not familiar with the British postal system, basically we get letters delivered through flaps in our front doors, and parcels that are larger than the letterbox get handed to us if we are in. If we're not in, they get given to a neighbor and we can collect them later. If no one can take them, then they get taken back to the depot where they sit or are returned to the sender. So last month we were just settling into our new home and my fiancé bought some clothes online for a local gym he wanted to join. I was in the house the day of the delivery as I was expecting it, and I'm working from home. When the delivery lady arrived with the parcel, there were two. I thought nothing of it at first and put it in the garage for my fiancé to open later on. When he came home from work, he rushes to open his delivery like it was Christmas, and to his surprise, the second parcel was not for him. It had our address on it, but no name. We were both confused at this point and thought it may be from one of the neighbors and they would collect it later. Time goes by and we get a note through the door that reads, "Hey, my son got his parcel delivered to your house. Call me on so I can come collect it." Again, we thought it was a neighbor. My fiancé called the number for a woman to answer and say she will be over shortly to collect the parcel. It turned out she lived across the town and her son chose our address to have it delivered to. We thought this was weird, but we assumed it must have been a mistake. Anyways, we thought that was the last of this, but the next day I get two more parcels for this lady's son, again with no name but with our address on the package. At this point, I'm thinking it was a mistake on their part, or possibly they used to live here. They come to collect their parcels and all is well, but guess what? More and more parcels over the next week arrive for this lady's son. At this point, I'm starting to get really annoyed by this, as even though I work from home, I can't leave meetings constantly to collect parcels that aren't even ours. So the next day when the parcel lady comes, I just tell her, "Sorry, this isn't for me and you will need to return it to the sender." So off she goes and takes the parcel back to the depot. A few hours later, I hear a knock at the door and guess who? Entitled mother is standing there with her son. I hate confrontations, so my memory of the conversation is a bit hazy, but she was furious that we denied her parcel and now she had to wait for it to be redelivered. I told her she needs to get her parcels delivered to her own home as it's weird and inconvenient for me. Like, I don't even know this lady. She then tells me it's easier for her to get them delivered to my home as I'm always in and she isn't. Now, maybe this would possibly be okay if I was friends with her and she asked, but she lives across town and chose a random address for her parcels. Anyways, she leaves and I think this may be the end of this story, but parcels keep showing up and for the next week, I politely tell the parcel lady they aren't mine and to return to sender. After a week of doing this, I stopped getting the parcels, so I guess she got the message. How entitled must this woman have been to think it's okay to get parcels delivered to a random person's home that she doesn't even know because it's easier for her? I really hope she didn't start doing this to someone else after me, but it was satisfying to know that she would wait twice as long for her parcels because they were returned to sender. Okay, it struck me that this might be hiding some illegal activity. The police are now informed, as at first I didn't think it was anything illegal and just a lazy woman. I will update if the police come back with anything. I also have CCTV of the lady and a phone number. This is John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to be the first to know when the next one drops, subscribe and click on that notifications bell. We would love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.